Salut, it's Paul from dronesgetter.com, and today we're gonna compare two very similarly priced GPS drones, the DJI Spark and the Hubsan Zino. I have also individually reviewed both these drones on YouTube and on dronesgetter.com. So if you want to check out the articles with more complete information about each of them, go down in the description and check it out on dronesgetter.com, or click right here in the corner if you want to check the videos on YouTube. Some people have started to compare the Hubsan Zino with the DJI Mavic Pro, but I do consider it to be quite unfair considering the price difference. That is, the Mavic Pro is more than twice the price of the Zino, so I thought a fair price comparison would rather be the Spark. They do differ a bit, but you can check down the price in the description for each of them, so you know if they are in your budget. First, let's see their specs and compare them on paper, and only then go outside and compare them in real life. As mentioned before, the Hubsan comes with a folding design, which means that it's not much bigger than the Spark when folded down. Also, the bigger overall frame and more powerful motors of the Hubsan make it better when it comes to handling stronger winds. However, even so, the Zino goes up to 32 km per hour in sport mode, while the Spark can go up to 50 km per hour in sport mode. I'd say the Spark definitely has the advantage when it comes to how fun it is to fly, especially in sport mode, and it's really small and nimble. The Hubsan is a much simpler drone that doesn't come with any fancy sensors like the Spark. It only uses GPS for positioning, which in turn might become a disadvantage for people who want more stability close to the ground. This also means that you'll never be able to steadily fly it indoors, unlike the Spark, that is rock solid even inside the house with no GPS connection. One of the main first differences we notice in the Zino is the 3-axis gimbal, compared to the 2-axis one on the Spark. This means the footage will probably be smoother on the Zino when the drone turns left or right. But keep in mind that the Spark also has electronic image stabilization. I will let you compare both videos next to each other in a few moments. Unlike the Hubsan, the DJI Spark comes with a sensor in front and two infrared ones at the bottom and even a camera. This means it's going to stop if there's something in front of it, like a tree or something else. When it comes to transmitter, at a first glance, the DJI one is definitely better quality. Zino has a white plastic transmitter that comes with sticks that don't feel as professional, but they still work as intended. A thing I liked more about the Zino transmitter is the way it holds the phone. I find this system easier to use and the cable much simpler to insert, as with the Spark I sometimes have to remove the phone casing to be able to connect the micro USB cable. The battery of the Hubsan is considerably larger than the Spark one, and that also shows in the overall battery life. The Hubsan Zino can stay in the air for close to 20 minutes, while the Spark can almost fly for 15, sometimes less. And even though it's much bigger, the battery for the Zino is $10 cheaper than the Spark one. But to be considerate, the Spark battery is small, which means it will discharge by itself after a while to conserve its lifespan. Hubsan Zino has a few basic accessories online, including spare parts for the drone, but the Spark has a ton more, including bags, prop guards, stickers, and almost every part for repairing it. There's even a handheld device option for this drone. It's quite incredible, in fact. Now let's talk a bit about the main camera features and how they handle filming in real life, because specs can sometimes be deceiving. First of all, the main difference between these cameras is that the one for the Zino records in up to 4K, while the one on the Spark is limited to 1080p. Even if you edit your videos in 1080, there's going to be more details in a video downscaled from 4K or 2.7K to 1080p than a video shot straight in 1080. However, keep in mind that the 1080p video that Spark takes is quite high quality, as it actually has a 4K sensor, but the resolution is limited, probably also because of the electronic image stabilization cropping. Before we get into the actual image quality of each, I will mention another very important thing you should be looking for is the drone stability itself. The Hubsan does an okay job at flying steady, that is if you have enough satellites connected. However, I have noticed that if you have less than 12 or you haven't done the calibration properly, it can drift slightly from time to time. On the other hand, the DJI Spark is absolutely incredibly stable, although more sensitive to wind as it's smaller. If we compare them side by side, you can notice the obvious drifting the Hubsan has after some time passes, mainly because it only relies on GPS to do the job. Speaking about this, I have even noticed the Zino making toilet bowl movements once, but it was only a single occurrence, so I guess it isn't such a big deal. But overall, I can definitely say that I'm much less afraid to fly the Spark precisely and not be afraid if it hits a tree when I'm not paying attention. Another downside of the Zino is that the controller doesn't alert you with the sound when it's low battery. So I found myself in the position where I was flying the drone and then the remote controller went off suddenly and I had to wait for the drone to come back to home by itself. Return to home precision is almost the same for both. I have noticed they return to home at about 1 to 3 meters from the original starting point. The Hubsan so far doesn't look so good, does it? Well, it does have a redeeming quality for it. And that is, besides the 4K camera resolution, its 3-axis image stabilization that is absolutely superb. This right here is 4K footage and I'm going to compare it with the 1080p footage of the Spark, even though this video is edited in 1080p. The Hubsan, including a follow me, circle around me, waypoint flight and even line flight mode that can be quite useful to get the shots you want. The Spark comes with a few intelligent quick shots that have interesting results. You can control it with your hand, have it take a selfie or start recording without even using the transmitter. I consider these to be gimmicks more than anything, as I never really use them besides impressing my friends. However, the Spark has a smart optical avoidance technology when it's tracking subjects. DJI Spark also has quick shots like drone, rocket and a helix that can add quite interesting effects even in professional videos. I really don't know if there is a clear winner between these drones, as it really depends on what you're looking for mostly. But the main factor that would convince you probably to buy the Hubsan Zino is the fact that it has longer battery life, it can also record in 4K or 2.7K, which the Spark can't, and probably the 3-axis gimbal stabilization. However, if you're only going to shoot in 1080p and you know that for sure, definitely choose the Spark instead, because I find its GPS position to be much more reliable and frankly because I like to fly it more than the other one. Please let me know down in the comments what would you choose and why. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell notification icon if you want to see more videos like this. Also, please share it with your friends to help them decide what drone under $500 they might want to buy. Thanks for watching and see ya later, alligator!